It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Thank you to the host for having us in this beautiful home. Thank you, Leslie, for the invitation. Tim Purrington did do something right. He was one of my first supporters when I announced my candidacy for mayor in the city of Holyoke. Tim was co-chair of my campaign, one of my first donors, and one of the first city councilors last January 2011 to endorse my candidacy. So thank you, Tim, for believing in me every step of the way. He was also the gentleman who introduced me to Tapestry Health. I had just graduated from Holyoke High School, and I was asked to do an internship at Tapestry on Bay Street in Springfield for the summer. I said yes. The first day I showed up in khakis, nice shoes, button-down shirt, and a few minutes later they told me that I was going out to pick up needles in the woods. So I rolled up my sleeves and did it in nice clothes, and the next day I showed up in sneakers and shorts and everything else. So that was a really great day. I'll never forget that day, and it was it was a really important experience for me. And now every time I start a new job, I check the dress code. But working for Tapestry almost 5 years ago was a really great experience for me. I worked for the Among Men, For Men program in Springfield. We provided HIV testing, other STI testing throughout Western Massachusetts, traveled, south to Connecticut, went to different LGBT establishments and bars and made sure that all people were informed about their bodies and how to protect themselves. And that's something that I did throughout high school. And just in January, actually, as chair of the school committee, we just passed a more extensive comprehensive sexual education program for all of our middle schools in the city of Holyoke. And that's something we're also really proud of in the city of Holyoke. I also want to thank Councilor Aaron Vega in the city of Holyoke. He's one of my greatest allies on the city council. In a 15-member council, every ally is important. So I encourage you to talk to Aaron about his candidacy for a state representative to represent Holyoke, particularly when we talk about access to contraception and sexual education at the statewide level. Leslie alluded to the struggle, and it's so important. Every voice does count on the Senate and State House level. So being here today is incredibly important. Just a few weeks ago, we stood on Ray Street in downtown Holyoke, just a few blocks from the new High Performance Computing Center to open up, the new Holyoke headquarters for Tapestry Health, and that was just the organization reaffirming its commitment to the city of Holyoke, which I think is incredibly important when you look at the data in the city, when you look at the teen pregnancy rate in Holyoke and in the public schools. Organizations like Tapestry, particularly when government funds are limited, are incredibly important. The government, as everyone knows, municipal government in particular, doesn't have the money to provide the resources that organizations like Tapestry does, and that's why it's so important each and every one of you donate and provide funds so that they can fund their programs in cities like Holyoke and all across Western Massachusetts, because it is very, very important work, and it's important for my constituents and my residents in the city of Holyoke. Holyoke, as many of you know, I think is definitely on the rise. And I ran for mayor because Holyoke is more than a city of problems and challenges. It's a city of immense opportunity and possibility. It's a city with fantastic people, a great history, a great heritage, and a lot of great things are happening in the city. And it's wonderful to see so many people that don't live in Holyoke excited about the city of Holyoke. So if any of you are looking to move to invest properties, I've already talked to a couple potential business owners. We're committed to finding you space, and I just moved downtown into Open Square, which is the first residential loft unit in a huge renovated mill building down the street from City Hall, as a move to bring more attention to downtown Holyoke, bring more business there, and it's a great space, and that's the future of Holyoke, making sure we can live, we can work, we can have fun right in our downtown. 4 major issues that I focused on in my campaign, and I'm focused on, as I am actually mayor now. Number 1, education. I went to the public schools. I went to Morgan, Peck, Holyoke High School. We do have a high dropout rate in the high schools, and that's incredibly important. But a lot of it stems from our low literacy rate in early childhood. Only 24% of our third graders right now are around grade level. You can predict whether or not a child is going to graduate from high school when you look at the third grade reading scores. So we've made it a point to invest in early education. We've approached the Davis Foundation and United Way, and they've agreed to fund a 5-year position out of the mayor's office just to focus on community literacy. So we're just in the process of that, and we'll be hiring that person out of my office in the next couple of months. We just opened up the first Family Literacy Center at Kelly. Thank you. We've just opened the first family literacy center at Kelly School in the Flats, which is one of our most poor neighborhoods in the city, with the mission of opening up a literacy center in every neighborhood in the entire school. And then I have the opportunity to chair the school committee to really guide the direction of where our schools are headed. We also have one of the state's only underperforming vocational high school in the entire state. And as co-chair of the Dean Futures Committee, we're bringing together the business community once again. A lot of the vocation and occupations and co-op opportunities have been lost over the past decade, when only 15 years ago there was a waiting list to get into our vocational high school, where young people were guaranteed advanced training or an occupation, could raise a family and buy a home. And we need to make that realistic again for our young people, particularly when we predict what our economy will look like in 5 to 10 years, training them for the green economy jobs that are currently being developed in downtown Holyoke as we look towards opportunities like the High Performance Computing Center and other technology-based jobs that we want to create in the city of Holyoke. As Lovely said, I have openly expressed my opposition to casino gambling time and time again. I think this afternoon on In Focus, it may already be on, 22 News is doing a feature of a couple gaming commission members and a couple other politicians in Western Mass and their views on casino gambling. And of course, I was the only politician there that was anti-casino around the table. And I think it's very important. My opponent said last year, and people continue to say, that a casino is the only thing that'll make Holyoke a better community. And that's a very sad statement about our assets and about our resources. Holyoke, like I said, has a lot of great things in the community. And the question is, what do we want to be known for? Do we want to be known for casino gambling? And for me, it's let's put our destiny in our own hands. Let's not sit around and wait for casino gambling to make us a better community, because it will not make us a better community. It will only jeopardize the efforts that we've already begun to revitalize downtown Holyoke. In a very short amount of time, I think we put us on a better path. Not only do we have the computing center, which will finish this December, we're finishing up a senior center this October, a $15 million renovation and expansion of our public library next December. We're in the process now of positioning Holyoke to receive an award from the state to provide incentives to downtown developers to build more market rate housing so that we can rebuild the middle class in downtown Holyoke. We have groups organizing around raising money for the Victory Theater, a $28 million project and a 1,600-seat theater on Suffolk Street, which has been dormant for several decades, but something that I think is a critical component of our downtown strategy to bring art and innovation at the center of our downtown. $18 million already secured in tax credits, and the rest will be kicking off a capital campaign within the next 6 months. So there's a plethora of projects currently happening. We just received the largest grant in the state to renovate Veterans Park, $1.4 million, right in front of a new multimodal transportation center in the heart of downtown Holyoke. So there's a lot of great things happening in downtown. I just brought a team of around 13 people to Lowell a few weeks ago for a creative placemaking conference around how gateway cities like Holyoke can utilize art, innovation, the creative economy to spur private investment. I know Priscilla from the Enchanted Circle Theater came along with us, and out of that conference I just proposed a couple weeks ago to have a director of art, culture, and tourism in the mayor's office in the city of Holyoke, because we need someone who wakes up every morning thinking about how we coordinate the arts community, how we market to our community and across Western Massachusetts that Holyoke is a fabulous place to live, a great place to work, and a great place to have fun. And I was just telling a few folks, next Friday, May 11th, is a perfect example of how many great things can happen in the city of Holyoke. We have the inaugural event of Bring Your Own Restaurant, which is a grassroots response to the lack of restaurant and dining options in downtown Holyoke. So next Friday night, you'll find 80, close to 100 people bringing their own tables and chairs to a blighted area of the city. And you bring bottles of wine and candles and glassware. And it's at the same time that we have 3 art gallery openings down on Ray Street, the Canal Gallery, Open Square. And it's a really great example. It's mostly Holyoke folks coming together and demonstrating that we want nice places to live. We want to be able to shop downtown and eat downtown, and we want to feel safe doing so. So definitely, if you can make it to Holyoke on May 11th, definitely come out and spend the night, because the farmers market at Open Square starts in the morning. Excuse me, I do have a little cold, probably because I don't get enough sleep, but that's a good thing. That was one of the arguments I made throughout the campaign. Well, you're too young to be mayor. Well, I don't have a partner, I don't have kids, so I have all the time in the world to dedicate to the job. And on the subject of public safety, making sure we feel safe downtown, it's been my philosophy to work very closely with our new police chief to implement policies that respect community policing. that public safety isn't just about locking people up and arresting people. It's about making sure people can re-enter society, get housing, and get a job. Because unfortunately, in communities like Holyoke, we do have a high recidivism rate, and that's where organizations like Tapestry with needle exchange programs are incredibly important, and something that hits home close to me and my family. And I'm looking forward to working closely with Tim and Leslie to establish a needle exchange program in the city of Holyoke this year, and that's something we'll be working on in the next few months. So I think only 2 communities right now in the state of Massachusetts have a needle exchange. 4 communities, and thank you, Tim. 4 communities in Massachusetts have a needle exchange program. Leslie was telling me a story that one mayor, they started a recall petition a few years back when they tried to push for a needle exchange program. So I looked in our charter and I didn't find a recall provision. And even if I did, we'd be pushing for a needle exchange because I know how important this work is in the city of Holyoke. We just cleaned up a park, and it's so important that not only is it going to keep people safe and healthy, it's going to clean up our streets and our parks and make sure that kids can play in public areas of our city. So that's just a snapshot of many of the things that are already happening in the city of Holyoke. But like I said, I think we have a real window of opportunity within the next 18 to 24 months to capitalize on the spirit and energy of folks who live right in the city of Holyoke, and all of you who are looking and watching and hoping for our success. And I hope all of you will continue to be a part of that. And I'm looking forward to. I'm already almost 25% done with my term. It is a 2-year term, so I will be up. I will be up for re-election next year. So definitely keep me in mind. Even if you don't live in Holyoke, as you know, there's other ways to help out. But thank you again for giving me the opportunity to talk about the important work that Tapestry does. As mayor, I'm incredibly committed to its mission, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure that we keep people safe and improve statistics around public health for our young people and everyone in general. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here.